Hello, my name is Greg Arabian. I'm a major, honorably discharged from the United States Air Force. I'm a member of Post 41 AMVETS, the Corporal Paul S. Marsubian Post, in Watertown, Massachusetts, and I'm the oral history director for Post 41 in Watertown. Today we're going to be interviewing one of our comrades, Ara Demeurjian, who was a combat engineer, and from the size of the book that you brought, you've got quite a bit to talk about, Ara. Is that correct?
Well, I hope I can remember some of it.
Okay, well, we're going to see, we're going to use that to jog your memory. And it is our hope, and this oral history program is being run in conjunction with the Library of Congress and the Veterans Oral History Project. It is our hope and our purpose that some of the experiences that we have talked about here, that we will talk about for generations to come. The date today is October 1, 2003. And tape will probably be seen by those who want to learn about experiences of veterans long after we're gone. It's our hope that this tape will be instructive and helpful and inspire those who wish to join any one of the services and serve his country to see what these people went through and what veterans of World War II and, like myself, a veteran of the Korean conflict, have experienced. So with that, Ara, we're going to go into your experiences in World War II, and from what we understand, you've signed a Congress and to such other institutions such as the Post and the Watertown Library and the AMVETS that will be privy to our conversations and benefit from this oral history. Is that correct?
Good.
Okay, we have your permission to do that.
Certainly do.
Okay, here we go. All right, Ara, tell us when and where were you born?
I was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, January 26, 1925.
And who were your mother and father?
Oh, my father is Hovagim Demeurjian, and my mother is Hanım Demeurjian.
And where'd they come from?
Oh, Armenian, Turkish Armenia.
And whereabouts?
Harpet.
Harpet.
Yeah, that's right.
Both of them came from Harpet?
That's correct. Hidesenig, Harpet.
Husenig.
Hidesenig. Yeah.
Husenig, I see. And when did they come to the United States?
Oh, yeah, I think my father came when he was around 18 years old, probably 1902, something like that.
It was before the genocide.
Before the second.
Before the second Armenian genocide of 1915?
Yes, yes. And my mother came, I think, about 3-4 years later.
In,
they never knew each other, really.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Was this what we call an arranged marriage? Or did they just meet?
No, I think what happened was that someone did introduce them when they came to this country.
Right.
And my mother lived in Hartford, Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
And of course my father was in the Boston
Cambridge.
area, Cambridge area. And they arranged the meeting, so to speak, with what they call, the old aunt or somebody comes with them.
Sure.
To make sure nothing goes wrong.
Yep.
And they went with each other quite a few times. And what's interesting is that my father has when he came from overseas, he had one of those big overseas trunks.
Yes.
Which I still have.
Yes.
I have them refurbished. And in that trunk he had about that stack of cards that he would be sending to my mother at that time when he was courting her in Hartford, Connecticut. He would write in Armenian.
Postcards.
Postcards about, and then some of it in English, most of it in Armenian. But then it gets very sort of dignified, and Then it became like my dearest, and so forth and so on.
Right.
And I got all those, still have those cards.
And these were on postcards.
And on
So these
postcards.
love letters on postcards that
That's
anybody could
correct.
read.
Okay, that's correct. And I'm telling you, my kids see that, they go wild.
Really?
Okay, and it's treasure the family
Wonderful.
obviously possesses.
What business was he in?
My father was in the grocery business, meat and grocery business.
Grocery?
Yeah, meat and grocery. He graduated from the college in Armenia, Turkish Armenia, I don't know what it is, but it was a college. He was a math teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And my father, when he came over here, he was supposed to come here and become a Catholic priest. That's how he got over this country.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't become a Catholic priest. He abandoned that. And
Did he come through Ellis Island?
yes, he came through Ellis Island. In fact, I got some of his papers that I
Uh-huh.
just researched, him and my mother both. And he could speak, obviously, Armenian, Turkish, English, Latin, and French.
Wonderful.
And he really should have been a teacher. That's what he wanted to be.
Right.
But when he came to this country, I said, why didn't you go to school? And he says, well, you know, he went to some schools to learn better English. But he said that we were trying to
There was a
make
language
money.
difficulty, I'm
We're
sure.
trying to make money
Right.
to send back to Turkish Armenia
Yes.
in order to get some of our family over here.
Right.
And in fact, and he tried very hard to get one of his sisters, who was a nun, who lived in France. And she almost came over, but he sent the money, but she never did come over.
When you were born, did you go through the Cambridge school system?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And did you graduate high school?
High school, Cambridge High and Latin.
And when did you graduate Cambridge High and Latin?
In 1943.
And of course, that was during the war.
Yes.
And what did you specialize in any particular courses in Cambridge High and Latin?
Not really. Just took general courses.
How are your marks?
Lousy.
Lousy.
I graduated because I graduated. That's about it. All right.
Okay.
There's another story in that one.
So when you graduated high school, how long after you graduated did you go into the service?
Well, actually, mostly all the senior class, the male members, got their notices while they were seniors.
Really?
And the government allowed us to graduate before, and after graduation, we had 2 weeks to report.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were classified, I think in those days we call it a 1A
Yes.
classification. So you were actually drafted then.
That's correct.
Okay. Did you want to go?
I wanted to go, and I made, actually, I shouldn't say this maybe, but
Yeah.
I lied in order to get in. When I say I lied, I have asthma, very bad asthma at the time. And one of the things was that when I went to the induction center was they had a sign up there, you know, if you have this diseases or these illnesses,
Right.
you have to come, they would either put you in a, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't allow you to go in, or they'd probably put you in a desk job, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So
I kept it quiet.
you told him you didn't have any
That's
asthma.
right. All the young people at that time, they were
Yeah.
all ready. They wanted to get in there and do what they had to do. I tried to get into Navy, Air Force, and I couldn't because I had bad eyesight.
Okay.
So,
And so when you went through your induction, where did you go through with your paperwork there? Where'd you report to?
well, we went to Camp Carson, Colorado. Fort Devens,
Fort Devens.
and then to Camp Carson, Colorado, where I trained.
Okay. And do you receive your uniforms and so forth at Fort Devens?
Yes.
And any initial training at Fort Devens?
No.
None at all?
None at all.
Okay. So from there, you went to Camp Carson, Colorado. Was that anywhere near Carson City or Las Vegas?
Colorado Springs.
Colorado
In Colorado
Springs.
Springs.
Okay.
There was an Air Force nearby. There still is, I think, in Colorado.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how did you get there? By troop train?
By troop train, correct.
And how did your folks feel about it?
Oh, of course, they were brokenhearted about that, you know.
They were.
The youngest little baby, here my older brother's in there, my other brother, now I'm going, you know. So
I see.
it was quite difficult for me.
How many brothers do you have?
2.
Were they in the service before?
No.
Did they get into the service before you went?
My middle brother, Surin, did. And my
Yeah.
older brother, I think it was a few months after I got in the Army. He was inducted in the Army.
All of you in the Army?
Yes,
Okay. How many sisters?
one sister.
And was she in the service?
No, she was not.
She stayed home?
She stayed home.
Okay. And before you left from Devens to go to Camp Carson, Colorado, did you see your family off? Your family? Did you see them, or did they see you off?
No. We just went to Fort Devens, and from there on, I think it was only a few days later that we took off to Camp Carson.
Okay. Describe your reception at Camp Carson.
Oh, boy. You know, the bewilderment, that's about it.
Really?
You know, bewilderment and you know, what's going on. But, I mean, getting other clothes, too. They gave us initial clothes, but then there were other supplies and things we had to get.
Right.
And so, you know, the rifles.
General confusion?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Where how did you live? Where did you stay?
Barracks.
Wooden barracks?
The wooden barracks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wooden barracks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there for, I think I was there for, was it 10 months? Something like that. And then we, just before we're going to be leaving to go overseas, they gave us some more training at Fort Leavenworth, Missouri.
Leavenworth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were there for a while.
Describe your training at Camp Carson for the first 10 months.
Well, the training was, you know, the real basic training, marching, going into the infiltration courses, learning all about machine guns and rifles and pistols, and just general information regarding the safety of all the equipment that you have, also the guns you have, and,
Right.
and taking them apart and blindfolded, you know, putting them together again.
What kind of weapons?
Well, I had the M1 rifle.
Mm-hmm. You will take that apart and put it back together?
And you had to do it blindfolded, too.
You did?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I got trained also on the, what we call the grease gun, the submachine gun,
Right.
and also the .45 pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trained in all three of them. And
Did you earn any sharpshooter badges or anything else like that?
I got expert in all those three.
Were you given a
armaments.
medal for any proficiency in that?
Yeah, you know, they give you the
Sharpshooter medal?
Sharpshooter medals.
Okay, all right. So,
Where those are now, I have no idea.
okay. So after 10 months at Camp Carson, that was basically basic training, is that
Yes.
correct? And marching and
Yeah.
infiltration courses?
Actually, I have to say, I went through two courses, two trainings, because they sent us home after the training period over, to go home, and we knew we were going to go overseas. And on the way back to Camp Carson, I got ill. I got what they call pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in the hospital for almost 30 days when my outfit left. And I tried to get the captain to have them release me, because eventually I wanted to go with
You want to
the
go with
fellows
the
I was
unit?
trained with, you know?
Right.
And of course, he couldn't do that. So they left. Then I got, I was with the 278, and then when I got out of the hospital, they put me with the 286th. And
That's the 278th Combat Engineers?
yes,
And then so that you were replaced into the 286th?
286 combat engineers. I said,
Right.
oh, do I have to go through this basic training again? Well, I did. I was told I had to do some of it, but not all of it. But I still
Okay.
have to go through the infiltration course.
So where did you catch pneumonia?
I have no idea.
No, I mean, where in the country? Were you on your way
I
back?
think I walked back from home on the train, going back to Camp Carson, Colorado.
Somewhere
You know,
on
I
the...
felt lousy, but I didn't think much of it, all right?
Where did they put you up?
When I went to Camp Carson?
Oh, yeah, in the Camp Carson Hospital there?
In the hospital.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So then you put up with the 286th. Was the 286th also at Camp Carson?
Yes, they were.
Okay. So you trained
So
with
I
them?
trained with the 286th again,
Mhm.
and then when we went to Fort Leavenworth, I was with 286th. I went overseas with the 286th.
Okay. What did you do at Fort Leavenworth?
Advanced basic training, you know, more sharpshooting, more full pack hikes, and
This was basically infantry training.
yes. Oh, yeah. Well,
Right.
the combat engineers got the same thing, infantry training.
I see.
we didn't do too much of the engineering in Fort Leavenworth, but in Camp Carson, we did erecting bridges, pontoon bridges, and that type of thing.
You did that at Camp Carson, too?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right.
Colorado River.
But you knew that when you went into the service, you were going to be a combat engineer? Or did you?
I really don't know. I can't remember whether they told us when we left Fort Devens or whether when we got to Camp Carson, whether we were. I can't remember that.
But you hadn't had any training in engineering?
Oh, no.
Right.
No. I wanted, my boyhood, I always wanted to become a architectural engineer. So when they got me in engineering, I felt pretty good about it. Although, the type of engineering was not really the architectural engineering.
Right.
But learning how to put pontoon bridges up and
Bring up
bridges.
pontoon bridges in Camp Carson. You didn't have too many rivers there or anything.
Colorado River.
Did you?
It was the Colorado River.
You were practicing putting bridges across the Colorado River?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty strong river.
Also, we also training in Bailey bridges.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you then went to Fort Leavenworth.
Yes.
Continued your training there.
Yes.
And you stayed there for another 10 months?
No. I think we stayed there maybe 3 or 4 months or something.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, where did you get?
Shipped to the port of embarkation in New Jersey.
You came all the way across the country?
Yeah.
So you debarked at New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened then?
Well, we just waiting around to get on the ship.
Where in New Jersey did you stay over? When you say port of debarkation,
Yeah,
was that
I'm
be Fort
trying to
Dix or something like that?
Was it Fort Dix? No, it's not in there either. Maybe it was Fort
Well, that's
Dix.
okay.
I don't
So,
remember.
so you just wait to be debarked?
Yeah.
Did you contact your parents when you were?
Yes, I contacted my parents, and my father, I don't know how he did, whether he drove or he took a bus to come down to meet me, to see me before I took off, which he never did. I mean, he couldn't get to see me. He thought he'd come down.
He tried.
Tried to, yeah.
Okay.
And the funny thing about it is, when we were ready to go on the ship, the day before, we were going through the supper in the line to eat.
Yeah.
And you know how they've done it, slop.
The chow line, yeah.
Chow line.
Okay.
And I look up there, and who's in front of me sitting in chow was my first cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's ready to go also.
really?
So I saw him before we left. I think he left a couple of days after I did.
He was with the same group?
No. Not my outfit.
Oh, he's in the
maybe
food
the same
service.
division.
Yeah.
But it was
Isn't
fun
that
because
something?
I hadn't seen him for quite a while. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
at least a year and a half.
So where'd you go from there?
From there we went to the name of the place in England that we went to for further training was called Demeurjian Park in the northwest part of England. And we get there around November 3rd, 4th, something like that, and trained for almost a month, not quite a month. Oh, yeah, about a month and a
Demeurjian
half.
Park, you said?
Demeurjian Park.
Did anywhere near London?
No, it's
Further north?
northwest.
Northwest.
Northwest in England, on the coast, not even on the coast, but way inland. And they were Quonset huts.
That's where you stayed?
That's what we stayed and did more training. And then on...
How was life there? How'd you live?
Well, you know, we entertain ourselves. It was Christmas, we get some kind of a tree and decorate it as best we could.
How about the local population? Did you intermingle with them at all?
Never did mix with the local population. It was way out in the country. There weren't that many, you know, it was long villages way off in the distance.
Yeah.
It really didn't. But I heard heard that one of my cousins, other cousins who was in the Glider Corps, was supposed to be nearby, and you know, the emails.
Right.
I got an email from my family telling me
V-mail, you mean?
V-mail,
right.
But he's a certain part, and I one day was able to get a pass and took a train to try to get to this place.
Right.
Couldn't find him.
No way.
No way. They come
No
all the way
way.
back again, so I never got to see him.
They had subways.
Oh, no, not over. This was just.
This was a regular train.
Surface train.
Surface train.
Yeah, this was,
I see.
that was really countryish out there.
What was the
It not-
countryside like at Delamere Park?
It was nice.
Rolling hills?
Grown hills, trees,
Yeah.
it's almost like going out in the country, here going out to well, not like New Hampshire, because it's more barren.
Vermont more.
Yeah, more barren,
Yeah.
But,
And you trained putting Bailey bridges and things like
no,
that?
we didn't train on Bailey, it was more physical.
More physical.
Again,
I see.
training with our arms and.
And after your Delamere Park experience, where'd you go after that?
Well, after that, was December 31st, we landed in Le Havre, France.
And what year was that?
That was 1944.
So that was 6 months after the invasion.
Yeah.
Describe the harbor at Le Havre.
We couldn't, the ships couldn't go into Le Havre because the docks were all gone. We had to go in by landing craft.
They were all destroyed?
Yeah.
So what kind of landing craft did you use?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Higgins boats?
Yeah, the ones that,
Yes.
yeah, is that what they call
Yeah.
them, Higgins boats?
Higgins boats. They're,
Not being a Navy man, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
All I know, I was in a boat.
yeah, and these had the fronts that went down, and you just walked into the.
I got to tell you one thing, though. When we left New York, or New Jersey, whatever it was, we were on the ship called the Saturnia. It was an Italian liner that the government had confiscated. So we were on a liner. And,
How were the quarters?
well, if you were lucky and lived above the waterline, you're all set.
Yeah.
Most of I was billeted was among a lot of others below the waterline. The lowest bunk, you can't go any lower.
Right.
You get that sweat off the hull,
Oh, yeah.
and all that, so that.
Was the troop ship pretty crowded?
Oh, yeah, it was crowded. And we do. They try to get us to do exercises every day just to keep us,
Yeah.
limber. But gee, it took us a long time. I don't know how long. It took us about 3-4 weeks, I think.
No elevators in the ship. You had
No.
to climb up to the
No.
deck.
Because they went through the northern route, to get by Iceland, I guess.
Yeah.
Close and back into England.
So this was an Italian liner that the Americans had confiscated and used as a troop ship.
That's correct.
Okay. And so from there, you,
Well, I landed at Southampton,
yeah,
in England, and then
Yeah.
from there we went to Delamere Park.
tell me. And then after that,
Trained for about, we got there on November 2nd or 3rd, and I'm sorry, December 29th, left Southampton, yeah.
and when did you arrive at Le Havre?
Le Havre, we arrived at Le Havre on December 31st. 44.
44. Was there any combat going on there?
No, not at that time, because the Germans
Had been driven back.
Yeah.
Right.
But as I said, the ships couldn't go in. The landing craft had to.
You had to go in by landing
And
craft.
some guys, some of them were taken by just off the boat into smaller boats and carried in.
Okay. And from there, where did you go?
Well, where did we go from there? Well, there we went. We were waiting to be. We're on land now.
Right.
And we're and it's winter time.
Right.
No winter gear. We didn't have
No winter gear?
No winter gear.
Did you have winter uniforms?
Yeah, we had winter uniforms, but no winter boots. Just the regular combat boots we had.
Right.
And we're waiting now for trucks to pick us up.
Right.
So I think it was about a couple of days before the trucks came.
Mhm.
And they took us to a site, and we had to wait there for a while. And it was really cold. And
Snowing?
yeah, snowing, cold, ice, and then
Right.
we saw the one of the commanders there. I don't know if it was a major or what. I guess he felt that was enough. He took a can of gas off the truck and poured it on the ground and lit it.
Yeah.
to keep everybody. So when he did that, everybody got their cans, did the same thing, and on the ground. And then the trucks picked us up and took us to, I don't know exactly where, but we picked up a train.
Mhm.
And troop train going across, and I have pictures of it here.
Right.
Troop train. And went across and we were just going by Paris, outskirts of Paris, when they stopped the train. And of course, they give it, it's outside the Paris limits, you know, more farmland.
Right.
So that gives us an opportunity to get off the, it wasn't regular trains like you sit down in the sea, it was the freight cars.
Okay, so these were French freight cars?
That's right.
Yeah. Were they smaller than the American type trains?
A little bit.
Okay.
But then we were building it, that's how we...
You were billeted in these cars?
That's how we transferred. We were sitting in seats. I mean, they were just,
Yeah.
You know, supply
Freight cars?
freight cars.
Okay.
And we had, of course, you know, the GI foods, the 10-in-1 packages with the cigarettes, the candy. And
Yeah, the
all that
K9,
stuff. Yeah.
what was it, K9 rations?
10-in-1, they call them 10-in-1 rations.
Right, okay.
Well, we go out there, there's farmers out there, French farmers.
Right,
So we traded eggs for our hardtack stuff.
right.
And when we get a chance, we build a fire, we cook that.
Okay.
And then also, I think it was right outside Paris again, all of a sudden the train stopped again. And there was a 104th Airborne Division. It's paratroopers
Yes,
were on board. And that was when the Battle of the Bulge was to start.
really?
And they took the 104th Airborne, took them all up, and they didn't take them off. They separated the cars,
Right,
got another engine,
right.
and took them
Took them right into the Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of Bulge. We kept
Okay.
on going. And when we got to where we were going, it was the Maginot Line.
Right.
Now, we got billeted in the Maginot Line, which was, you know,
The
underground.
billets are underground, right?
Underground. And we stayed there for, there was during the winter time, we stayed there for a month for advanced training. And
So up till this time, you're going from England to Le Havre, to outskirts of Paris, the Maginot Line. You hadn't done any work yet. You were still training.
that's right.
Okay, all right,
And in the Maginot Line, we had another month's training.
right,
And officers told us to be careful when we're going through the Maginot Line and going through the passageways. You can get lost.
uh-huh,
So they say, what you do is you take a marker or a rope,
right,
and you tie it, and you make that go, so that you know how to get back.
all right,
Yeah, and really,
okay,
it was, and of course, that was abandoned so that there was animal
rats,
all animal refuse and all that stuff,
Right.
which we had to clean out. So we were there a month, and of course, like all soldiers, all people, military people, you didn't get much chance to do any showering or cleaning yourself up.
yeah,
So it was 30 days that none of us had a shower.
Oh,
We had the same clothes on,
right,
underwear, the whole works,
Oh,
for
boy.
30 days. And they said, okay, there's a mobile shower coming tomorrow, so everybody get ready. So, okay, the shower thing came, a big trailer, with all the
Yeah.
shower heads.
yeah,
So you get to one end, you strip all your clothes off, they give you all new clothes, all
Yeah.
new clothes, and you have,
somehow all of them fit too, I bet.
yeah, and you had 60 seconds to go through the shower,
Really?
1 minute.
Isn't that
You
amazing?
shower, you soap, you get in and soap and get till you get out. And that was it. That was our,
That
and
was
then a few days later, we were off towards Germany.
Okay. Describe the facilities below the Maginot Line.
There was nothing. It was just it was all obviously concrete. And
Right.
they had a lot of individual rooms, for the soldiers. But there were no beds or anything like that in there because those were all been gone.
How did you sleep?
We just slept on the ground.
Slept on the ground? Boy, that's pretty tough. Yeah,
And it was damp a little bit,
yeah,
But like anything else, you
get used to
it. You hang
Okay.
long enough, you get used to it.
okay. So, after your shower there at the Maginot Line, where did you go from there?
We went to Well, of course, we're going to the southern part of, we're in the southern part of Germany. We're in General Patch's 7th Army.
General Patch?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we were assigned to.
Okay.
And we're going in the southern part of
Okay.
the theater. And,
Southern Germany?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do there?
Well, now I was I was trained in communications,
Right.
in radio and, excuse me, linemen, speaking of the telephone lines.
Right.
And our job was to, before the headquarters moved, if they picked the spot where they were going to be for their headquarters. So we'd have to go in advance, put up all the communications. So when they got there, the communications were all set up in order to division and to all the other.
These are
companies.
stringing up telephone lines?
Yes.
Well, not on poles or anything, it was...
We put it anywhere, on the ground, on the top, wherever we could do, wherever we could put it.
Right,
And
right.
we'd get it all set. And that could be, one day, and the next day they moved, and we'd have to do the next thing the next day.
You must have used an awful lot of telephone wire.
Yeah. In fact, we were getting short on wire. So we used to go back and pick up our old wire.
Really?
Yeah, and scavenge in other people's wires too in order to have communications.
Did the troops that were in your area know enough to stay away from these lines?
Oh, yes, yeah.
In
So
other words-
any problems you had were usually with Germans that maybe infiltrated and cut the lines or something like of that nature.
Yeah. Was there a way to find out where your lines were cut, if they were? Not really.
Well, the only way you could do that is you had to start from the source,
Yeah,
from the beginning,
Follow the
and
wire.
follow the line.
right.
And I forget what the head count it was that we had, there was shelling going on in one of the towns, and one of our officers said, okay, we're going to stay here for the night. So we set up quarters and put, the tin cans around with the,
Right.
in case anyone tries to infiltrate out. Then the commanding officer came and saw us, they said, what are you people doing here? He said, oh, we were told to stay here. He said, no, there's a little town up forward here. He says, stay here. So he took himself and a couple of jeeps with the machine guns and they went into town. We hear this fire going on.
Yeah.
I figured whether they hit something or what, but got into town. Then he come back. He said, okay, everybody up, we're going into town. And kick the Germans out, the civilians out.
Right.
Unfortunately, that was how the war was done. When we were in France, we couldn't do that. While we were in France, we couldn't go in and remove people from their homes and stay. We have to build it wherever we could possibly find places to sleep.
So what you're describing is the movement of a unit
Yes.
into town in Germany,
Yeah, yes,
telling the Germans to get out of their homes,
yeah.
to billet you.
that's correct.
And where did the Germans go?
We don't care. They
You
doubled up.
just took them out.
They took them out. So we got in there.
Yeah.
We no sooner get in there, and communications down.
Uh-huh.
So he said, okay, boys, get out there and find out where the heck it is. So now we're tracing all the way back. We
Right.
could, and at that time, we were starting to get jittery now, because we knew we're in an area where
Yeah.
they told us there was SS troopers and also regular Wehrmacht playing possum in the ditches and everything else.
Right.
So we had this Greek fellow who was in Merchant Marines, and he got torpedoed 3 times.
Uh-huh.
And the last time he got torpedoed off the east coast of the United States, he decided that was it. And he stayed in the United States, got drafted. It was in our unit, okay?
Right.
And he's like a crazy Greek. He was a nice guy, but he thought he saw something out in the. That's how imagination plays tricks on him.
Right.
He thought there was something out there, so he takes a machine gun and he starts firing away like mad. And we go out to find out that there was nothing.
Nothing there.
Nothing there. So we couldn't find the break, so we went all the way back again. And where do we find the break? As you just go into town, there's how in some of these towns they have these entrance
Yes, the
arches.
Yeah.
Well, we had put our lines up there. Other outfits have done the same thing. Well, one of our trucks come by and snapped it. He didn't
I
understand.
see. I see.
So that's how we.
So you made the
found-
communications work. So how long, do you remember the name of the town?
Well, if I look, I could. I really can't.
That's all right.
remember.
If you can't remember, it's okay. So how long did you stay there? You kept on
Oh,
moving?
yeah, I think we stayed there maybe one night.
Yeah.
and
So you
we-
kept on moving?
We just kept on moving. And we were going towards the southern part of Germany and France, and there was Colmar, France.
Kumla?
Colmar.
Colmar.
Colmar. The Battle of Colmar. That's
Colmar, Colmar.
that's what the U.S. government gave.
Right.
For the.
You got a medal from the French government?
Yeah, for that.
For your participation in the Battle of Colmar.
That's right.
Tell us what happened there.
Well, this is actually probably the first time all of us were in a real battle area.
Yes.
And we're in Colmar, and we're in billeted actually in a vacant building. And we're sleeping, and all of a sudden, we all hear these artillery shells going off. And everybody wakes up. Well, the first sergeant comes running up and said, "Don't, it's our guns. They're the 240s in the back." Well, the 240s, 240s, you incline them to get the range.
Right.
They were lobbing them. They were this way almost vertical, lobbing them over into the German line. So we stayed there almost, I don't know, was it 3 weeks? Because there was a bridge that was blown out. And in order to get, we had to have the bridge done by a certain time, because General Patton, in his tanks, was supposed to be coming through there.
Right.
And they're waiting for that bridge to be built, and they said it had to be built by a certain period of time. And it was it was more like a permanent bridge, not semi-permanent.
What kind of a bridge did you build?
This was one of those Bailey bridges, but a lot of work had to be done around the abutments areas and approaches. So it took a long time.
You worked on that?
I didn't work because I was in communications. That's when our line
I see.
companies did
Okay.
that. But it was it was like from here to 2 blocks down the street. Well, the day that bridge was built, his tanks came across there. I tell you, it was must have been like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and those tanks came through until 12, 1 o'clock, and they were going through.
Really?
Yeah.
So he had quite a few tanks there.
Yeah. You didn't get to see them, but we saw the tanks go through.
Yeah.
And from then on, we just went, we followed the division.
How did that spectacle impress you? Did that impress you?
Yeah.
There were tanks going one after another. Was there any gunfire going on?
Not at that time. The only gunfire was, we had the 240s from our outfit, from our side, being long over the Germans.
And were those 240s being shot before you started building the bridges?
Yes.
Yeah. So they shot the 240s.
They were shooting the 240s.
Sometime after that, they built the bridges.
They were building the
Okay.
bridges, yeah.
And then Patton came along on it.
Patton came
Did they
along.
have the bridge built at the time that he required it?
Yeah, I think they could have built it earlier, but they were given a date, and they said, "Oh,
We're going to do it by that
date."
date. Okay. All right. There must have been union workers.
Union workers, yeah.
Okay. So did you follow Patton?
Well, no, he went, I think, further north.
Okay.
I think Gene Rafalian, I think, was in
Yes.
in Patton's, yeah.
Right.
And we kept sort of south a lot because we going towards Würzburg, Germany.
Wurzburg, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's see, where
Is that along the southern part of Germany?
Yeah, that's in southern part of Germany, and that was on April 6th. That's why we're in Würzburg.
45?
Yeah, and
45 or 44? 45.
45.
That was close to the time the Germans surrendered.
It's getting close now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you doing at that time?
In Würzburg, I don't know. Up to that time, we're going through all these different towns and.
Like what?
Oh, we got St. Arnold, Bitch, something called Bitchy, Hasselun, Germany, Lamprechtstein, Fürth, all these different towns we went through.
So what you're doing when you're going through these towns is building bridges where you have to, and you were taking care of the communications.
The line companies, yeah.
Yeah.
We take care of the communication, line companies.
And they're building the bridges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bridges, or, and then they told us, we're going to go to Würzburg, and we're going to do some advanced training in Würzburg.
Training again?
So I said, geez, so we're going to do in Würzburg.
Okay. So what happened there?
In Würzburg, I don't know if it's Würzburg or Mannheim, one of them anyhow. One half of the city was completely obliterated.
Really?
And that was most like the industrial area and middle-income people. But here, in the other part of the side of the river, you have these beautiful homes. I mean, we talk about homes, you talk about beautiful homes.
Really?
I think of those today, I'm saying, to you, if you're looking like in Lexington and Hamilton, they're the $1.5 million, $2 million homes.
Mm-hmm.
And
They weren't touched?
They were not touched at all.
Did you take them over? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
We took them over, and
How was living in them?
beautiful.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was nice. We took them over, and
And the Germans didn't fight you when you told them to get out?
how could they? What are they going to do?
It's war.
What's strange to me, we had a
Did you feel sorry for them when they had to get out of the home? Did they take their belongings?
They took whatever they could. The older people you felt bad for. When I say older people, maybe people my age at that time that I think.
Yeah.
But
You had to be billeted somewhere.
yeah, well, they didn't want us to be building out in the under the tents or anything like this, or on open sky. And these people had. I remember this one house where we took over. There's a bulkhead. They had a bulkhead before you go in, and you go up the stairs, and we opened the bulkhead, and this guy must have been dealing in contraband, because when I say contraband, he had cigars and cigarettes. I mean, one individual having a house could never smoke that till the day he died.
Right.
So he must have been dealing in the black market, even in Germany.
Yeah.
So we used the cigars and stuff.
Yeah.
And this had a pool in the back, and one day this is a funny part of this thing is one of the fellows were out there around the pool, and he noticed around the edge of the pool there's a lot of earth that was disturbed. So he was just digging away, and we find wine in baskets, and individual buried there. So they knew we were coming evidently, and
Yes.
buried those, because obviously we had a good party to ourselves when we
Yeah.
could. And there was a big ammunition dump nearby, U.S. ammunition dump,
Right.
in which German observation planes came over every night trying to spot where it was. And they finally spotted it and blew it up.
German observation
Yes.
plane? Really?
Blew it up.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean,
Like 4th of July?
I know when you feel sorry, they're the Germans, but you still have to feel sorry for them. The poor woman said, don't ruin my house.
Yeah.
Well, after that explosion, the walls were
Really?
cracked and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And they had the clay
So
tile
this
roof.
ammunition dump was close to
Yes.
where you stayed in
Yeah.
Würzburg?
Clay tile roof, it was gone.
Really?
So, but from there on, we stayed there about a month, I think it was, and then we just kept following the.
How far did you go into Germany?
The last place in Germany was Bad Tolz, Germany, but that was near the Austrian border. And when the war ended for us,
Yeah.
when the Germans surrendered, we were in Kufstein, Austria.
How far into Austria did you go?
Kufstein probably was about 5-10 miles into Austria.
And then you learned the Germans had surrendered?
Yeah, and we come across this just before this, and in this area, this is where we come across some of the Jewish people who were in concentration camps,
Right.
who have been released in their uniforms, and walking around half
Yes.
days, some of them.
Right.
And it was an awful sight to see. I mean, you knew at that time.
You knew that there were these German.
You might see him rah rah and all that. I mean, at this time you knew why you were here.
Really?
I
So
mean,
you saw the Jewish
yes.
concentration camps. How many of these did you
Well,
see?
no, I
didn't
didn't
see any?
see the concentration camps because we saw them when they were released. They wouldn't let, they wouldn't let you do the concentration camps anyhow. I mean,
Really?
whoever got there, the army, they would take it over. But,
Right. You saw them.
yeah, they come in droves to our truck looking for food.
Hmm.
And,
Did you give them any food?
well, we try to give them, I was in a 3/4-ton truck, and you lift up the seat, there's areas, storage areas.
Right.
And everybody must have forgotten there was a bread about this big, hard as a brick. And they saw this, and they grabbed it. And we were trying to pull it away from them. They said, "No, that's stale." Oh, they didn't give a damn if it was stale or not stale. I mean,
Bread was bread.
Bread was bread, and it was a pitiful sight, really.
It really.
And
yeah.
I probably didn't see the worst of the concentration camp people that were released, but the ones I saw didn't look good to me at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Were they happy to see you, or didn't they care?
Of course. No,
They were.
Of course they were happy. Of course.
Right, right. Okay, so what happened after the surrender? Did you stop building bridges, or?
Yeah, well, what happened was that when we were in Kufstein, when we found out the war was over,
Right.
there was a building that was converted by the Germans to a hospital, and there were
Right.
German.
There were German prisoners in there.
Soldiers.
Soldiers in
who
there.
were being taken care of, by
Right.
their own people.
Right.
And we were so happy that the war was over, so we went over there specifically to say, "Hey, the war's over,"
Right.
Like, be glad. And in their eyes, you could see some of them. Some of them were, I think, SS troopers. You
Right.
could almost look in their eyes like, "Wait till next time."
Really?
I mean, they
You went into the hospital?
no, outside. They were
Yeah,
sitting in
outside.
there was like a porch area.
I see.
They were sunning themselves,
Yeah.
And I say one thing about the German, at least the SS troopers anyhow. Whenever they met you, they're always respectful.
They were.
I mean, attention and dress of the kill. The GIs
Right,
the way they used
right,
to be.
right,
Even
right.
the officers, right?
Right.
I mean, open neck, jackets slung
Right.
over, and these guys are all the way just like they're going to go to a parade.
So even though they knew they were defeated, they'd still be dressed up like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what happened after that? How did you leave Würzburg?
Well,
You left
Kufstein.
Kufstein.
Kufstein, Austria. Actually, they broke up our outfit, the 286th,
Right.
and some of us got dispersed us to different outfits. They're trying to consolidate.
Where'd you go?
I go to 278th Combat Engineers,
Mm-hmm.
and they were stationed near Heidelberg, Germany, in a town called Waldorf.
Uh-huh.
Waldorf. Now, you go to the Waldorf Astoria.
Yes, yes.
Well, the first Waldorf restaurant, cafe, was there in the Waldorf Astoria. Small little village. Now you got pictures that shows the Waldorf Astoria.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But was Patton around that area?
No, Pat he was further north.
Yeah, yeah. Because after the war, they said he took over some area around Heidelberg, somewhere around there.
Well, Heidelberg was declared an open city.
Yeah.
And good to think it was, because it's a beautiful city.
Was it devastated?
No, just one building was bombed, and I don't know how that happened, but nothing else was touched in Heidelberg.
All right.
And the good thing it wasn't, because it's a beautiful, beautiful buildings in Heidelberg.
So trace your post-war route, trace your post-surrender route back home.
Okay, well, one thing I know, when we were in Waldorf, came 1946, New Year's. Was it New Year's? Yeah, New Year's. We had a big party in Heidelberg, Germany, in a restaurant, a theater, and they had broadcast that back to the United States.
So New Year's
Yes.
46, you were in Heidelberg?
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened? How'd you get back?
Okay, because we didn't call. And then when we were in Waldorf, then, well, we were told that we're going to be shipped to Le Havre, France.
Right.
Where are we going? Well, everyone's speculating. We're going to go back to the United States.
So how'd you
Or
get
we're
back?
going to go
Yeah.
to Japan or to
Yeah.
Pacific War, or we're going to go home and then go to the Pacific War. So our whole offer went down to the Le Havre. We get down there in trucks.
Right.
We get down there, and the port of embarkation officer is asking our officers, "What the hell are you doing down here?" He said, "What are you doing? We've got orders." He said, "I haven't got you on the list." All the way back.
You went all the way back to Waldorf
Went all the way back. And
in trucks?
trucks, yeah.
Oh, boy, that must have been some trip.
And, we went back there, and I stayed until time to go home, which was, was sometime in April.
So so you mean you stayed there for 4 months before you were able to get back home?
Yeah.
You spent New Year's in Waldorf in 1940?
In Heidelberg, yeah.
Yeah. And then you stayed there for 4 months before you were able to get home in April?
Yeah. Yeah, we were occupation troops, part of the occupation troops.
So you did occupation
Yes.
duty there? I
Part of the
see.
occupation troops.
Okay.
And,
And you came back through Le Havre?
no, we didn't come back.
How'd you get back?
How the heck we get back? Oh, I must have. I guess we did come back from True Havre, yeah.
You came back
Yeah.
by ship?
Yeah, by ship. And we're on a Victory ship. I don't remember the name.
Oh, yeah, one of those Kaiser ships.
Yeah, Kaiser, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a stopper in the ocean,
And so, generally speaking, you were mostly in combat situations where your food wasn't that great, was it?
Yeah, we were using 10-1 rations. That's what we were using.
Mm-hmm.
10-1 rations.
Yeah.
Sometimes they try to give us hot food, but the hot food consisted of getting to an area and they'd have the 10-1 rations in boiling water. And
Right.
pull it out and give you a can of hot
Right.
meal. That was your
Because a lot of the people I've interviewed have said that they had wonderful food, but your food was mostly
Most of it-
rations.
Yeah, with all rations, yeah.
Okay. And I see that you have a personal diary here that's about 3 inches thick, and we'll go through it sometime. Did you have any entertainers?
Oh, yeah, I have, it was Glenn Miller's band.
Huh?
Glenn Miller's
You
band.
had Glenn Miller Band?
Yep.
Where did he entertain you? In Europe?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. I got it there. I think it was in Nuremberg.
Nuremberg.
I think so. Yeah. And of course, we were in Nuremberg, Germany too. That was quite a sight to see.
Really?
The Nuremberg, where Hitler used to make all his speeches with the big swastika.
Oh, yes, yes.
I got
You saw his
pictures of that.
headquarters there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And describe Nuremberg for us.
Well, actually, we were there like 1 day, 1 or 2 days. That's how.
Were you able to get out and around?
Yeah, but everything was so bombed out. There was really nothing you could see. One place I remember going into was Pforzheim, Germany. I've been, and Pforzheim was a city in which the British, the French, and the American Air Force used to fly over all the time, but never bombed Pforzheim. They used to go to targets. And
Right.
the story we heard from the people afterwards that they used to have the alarms put on.
Right,
That the planes are coming. But every time the planes used to fly over Pforzheim.
right,
So they got so used to it, they never used to
yeah.
put the alarm on.
So it was like an IP, an initial point.
So what happened was,
Yeah.
from what we understand, is intelligence found out that they were making precision instruments in Pforzheim.
They're making what?
Precision
Instruments, yeah, okay.
So the French, the English, and the American planes went over for 24 hours constantly, bombed the city. And of course, a lot of people got killed because they never went to the
Right,
shelters.
right.
And we got in there, I think, the day after or 2 days afterwards.
What was it
I
like?
have pictures of that.
You do?
There was nothing standing that I could see.
Pretty flat.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
part of a building, the wall is up.
How far was that from Nuremberg?
Oh, geez, I don't know. From Nuremberg?
Yeah.
Boy. I I
Describe Nuremberg for me.
no, all we saw was Nuremberg was that stadium that you saw.
You did see the stadium? Yeah.
That's the only thing I can remember. And another thing, it was difficult to remember too much of this because you didn't stay in one place too long, like we did like in the Maginot Line.
Right.
And in Würzburg, because we're doing some training.
Right.
But after that, it was usually one day, at the most 2 days, you're off again.
Right.
You haven't got time to take a look around and see what's what.
You had some pictures of German jet aircraft.
Yeah.
Where did you see those?
Well, I saw those in some of the towns that were bombed, we went through that were bombed.
Right.
And these planes were left abandoned, and some were destroyed.
Were they? Did you go through any airfields? Were they in an airfield?
Yes, but I don't
Right.
remember which airfield it was. But I know that, like I had told you before, that on the Autobahn,
Right.
in the middle strip there were plenty of German planes.
What kind?
The Messerschmitts.
Messerschmitt.
They were,
They're on the Autobahn.
because the Autobahn, was a beautiful highway. And
Right.
in the middle strip a lot of it was forested, or trees. And they used to pull their planes, because you used to use that as a landing and a takeoff, the Autobahn. And a lot of the planes were
Right on the Autobahn.
in the woods.
In the woods.
Yeah, they had planes, they carved out the woods, so you can't see it, very difficult to see it from the air.
So they would pull their planes out of the woods onto the Autobahn.
Oh, it's clicking now.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then, as I said, if they had more fuel, they would have been, I think the war would probably have been extended because they could have used those planes. And
Were these jet planes or were they?
what was it? I don't know, was
You
it
don't know.
Smith jets? I don't know.
Okay. All right. Now. Okay, we've had a very interesting oral history here. We've come to the end of your story, but I do want to refer to some of these things that you've put into a very interesting book. And I just want to go through a few of these items
Some
here.
of the family members.
This
there
is
now.
some of your family members,
Like most,
right?
in the beginning, just before I left, I guess.
And this is some of your brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are some of the things like.
You have the Follies Bergère here.
Yeah, well, that's when we had a 5-day pass to go to Paris.
So, and then you have something here about a Christmas festival of the Company
the-
B,
Yeah, that's the one I thought it was.
290th Engineering Department,
That was in
Waldorf, Germany, 1945.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have something here that says, horror camp films degrading German papers in U.S. assert. And you had seen some of them. And also you have here, a Happy New Year. 7th Army extends holiday greetings in a great big way to all who pass by on the Autobahn between Mannheim and Heidelberg.
Yeah.
Now, is that where you were?
Yeah.
So that's where we are here. And we're just going to go on. You have a menu for Thanksgiving Day. Was that
Did I? Yeah.
1945?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but we had Thanksgiving dinner. They
Okay.
gave us a menu.
And you have a lot of pictures here
Yeah,
of your troops
yeah.
and headquarters, 21st Corps,
That's a
Office of the Corps Commander.
commendation to the outfit.
This is a commendation, Commanding Officer, 286th Engineer Combat Squadron, with regard to the liberation of Colmar, C-O-L-M-A-R. Colmar has been liberated and the enemy has been driven to the east of the Rhine River. Okay, and then you have some,
Old German paper money.
what are these, paper money?
Yeah.
Was that German paper
Yeah,
money?
Yeah,
You have some of that,
yeah, and some coins I got too.
coins, okay. And then you have pictures here of your tent.
Yeah.
You have pictures of some of your squad members. Here's the picture of the, I think it's called a Messerschmitt 262. It's a German Messerschmitt. And you said many of these were in the trees on the side of the Autobahn. And you have a picture here of Glenn Miller's band.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah,
You were, so you were in the audience at Glenn Miller's band. And when you heard that he went down, you felt sorry, I'm sure. And who is this singing here? Any idea? Joe Stafford, maybe?
Probably Joe Stafford.
Joe Stafford, right. And,
You got a better memory than me.
okay, well, we follow it. And here you are at Mannheim, Germany. What was going on at Mannheim, quickly?
Well, just one of the stopping
One of the
points.
stopping points. At Mannheim, Germany. Okay. And let me see, more pictures of Glenn Miller's band. These are all black and white pictures.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's
Right.
too many, couldn't afford colored.
Okay. And you had Jeeps and you had all kinds of other means of transportation.
Yeah.
And this is the Arc de Triomphe?
Yeah.
Or is that the gate to East Germany?
No, that's the East Germany.
That's the Brandenburg Gate?
I think so, yeah.
Brandenburg
Yeah,
Gate?
because this is the, is that the Nuremberg Stadium right there?
That looks like it.
Yeah,
That looks like it.
Yeah.
So you were actually in East Germany.
yeah.
Okay. And you have some of these other pictures. Are these actually pictures or postcards? Looks like you had some of these pictures made.
Maybe.
All
But I
right.
think
And what is this here?
that's on the ship coming back.
Okay. So you have a picture of side of a ship coming back, but you know what that is?
That's a,
Lifeboat.
Lifeboat.
Okay. So you have Company
That's coming into New
A
York.
278th Engineer Combat Battalion.
Yeah, that's where I got signed to my last
Okay.
outfit. And this is coming into New York.
This is coming into New York, and this is in 46.
Yes, 46.
Okay. And you didn't want to re-up, I'm sure.
No?
So when you came home, was your family happy to see you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And what is this?
Oh, that's my college fraternity. I figured
Okay.
end up with getting out of college.
Okay, so did you go to college after?
Yes.
And where'd you go?
UMass,
And you graduated with a degree
Bachelor of Science, yeah.
in Bachelor of Science.
Yeah, I majored in engineering, but that's Bachelor of Science.
Did you use your GI Bill?
Oh, yeah.
You did.
I have to tell you one story, though, if I ever.
Go ahead.